February 1st, 2017. We're here with Tahiti Maurice and Tahiti Hiro Lynch. Okay. And Maurice, when did you start tattooing?
I started tattooing when I was 16 years old. Put my first tattoo on when I was 16.
In San Diego?
In San Diego, yes. That's 1961. Yeah.
51.
51.
1951.
Yeah.
Now, how about you, Hiro? When did you start?
I started put on my
40.
what? In 1957.
67.
1959. 1949.
No.
Right. Yeah, when we moved to San Diego, in 1949, the summer of 1949, when Dad opened up his first shop on 317 F Street, right across the street from the Burlesque Theater at the time. And I started, I was about 12 years old and practicing on paper as well as a few live skins when I could, Dad could get me one customer, you know, to put on to practice. But it was 1949, summer 49 when we moved.
And you used to help out at the shop, right?
Yeah, and I helped out. And, every weekend we'd go down there, Saturday and Sunday, and help Dad on down there. And once in a while they'd give me early Saturday out so I could go to the movies. So every once in a while I'd go down to the movies down on 5th Street, and at the Casino Theater and the Aztec and several other theaters down there. And go see my 3-color movies for 25 cents at the time.
Awesome. What year, Maurice, did you start working at the arcade in Oceanside?
It was 1962. I was working in a shop down from the arcade, and we had this one day we had this one guy, one Marine. You know, he only had so much money on him, so he would go at the arcade, price something, then he would come at my shop, price some. The same thing, same design, Black Panther, remember? Trying to get both of us to come down so much so that then he'll pick. And then he finally said, he finally came back to me and I told him, yeah, go ahead, sit down, I'll tattoo you, you know. And when I was done, I looked out the window, looking out the door, and there's Buzz Clayton, the other tattoo artist. He was standing right by a meter, smoking a cigarette, you know. And I thought, I'm in trouble now with this guy, you know. And he kept, you know, he saw me, so I came up to him. And he looked, he says, and he started laughing. He said, this joker is really something, you know. He's been up here at my shop for, you know, like 5 times, and then down your place. And he says, you know what, Maurice? Your name is Maurice, right? I said, yeah. Why don't you just close this joint and come up with me? That's how I got to go there. Yeah. A month later, I said, yeah, why not? You know, because the place I had was just a hole in the wall, and it didn't even have a
name?
bathroom. No, it didn't even have a name. Just part of a bar. They just petitioned off one little section of it. That's a tattoo shop.
Okay, who was working there when you started?
Buzz.
Yeah.
Bill Clayton. Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah, just him and I. And yeah, those days was pretty slow before Vietnam and everything, so it was pretty slow, you know. But yeah,
Once Vietnam hit?
Once Vietnam hit, there goes everything, man. It was. Then we had a apprentice, Larry Riggs, and then there was 3 of us working there.
Busy all the time?
Little bitty little place, yeah.
Oh yeah, this room here.
I remember.
Yeah.
We were busier than hell all the time. And it's always like you can take 10 designs off the wall, and there were the 10 that they picked. Little bulldog with a DI cover, and of course the Marine Corps emblem.
How much were those going for?
$7.50 for the bulldog. Yeah, yeah, $7.50 for the bulldog. The Marine Corps was $12. Yeah.
The emblem, yeah.
But,
EGA?
Yeah.
There's a lot of flash in the shop with the name Spike on it. You guys know anything about that?
No, that was way before I got there.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember those flash. Yeah.
All right, that will remain a mystery then.
Yeah.
So the arcade was the only shop in Oceanside. There were
Yes,
no
it
other
was.
shops.
Yes, it was. It was the only place. A guy by the name of Captain Jim from LA, he opened up a shop, but then the health department closed him down. And he only lasted maybe not even a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember going to Captain Jim's when he lived in LA, right? We
Yes.
go visit him when I was a kid.
Sure.
Yeah. And he moved shop up to LA.
Yeah, he had a bunch of shops up here in LA. Yeah.
I remember we would go to his house up on that hill, and
Oh yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was a big chow dog or something, right?
Yeah, up on top of the hill there, you look like a bunch of gorillas.
There's also some flash with the name Sully on it.
That was the owner of the arcade and a pawn shop combined.
So he was a tattoo
He was the owner. No, he wasn't a tattoo artist. No,
but he had flash?
he had flash because of the people that worked there.
Oh, and he just put his name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Sully Sullivan.
yeah.
Okay.
Because most of the flash that was there was by a guy named Ralph Johnston.
Johnston,
Uh-huh.
And he was there when I was up in Oceanside in 1957, and my dad had a little shop there also, and then that's when he was working there. This guy named Ralph Johnson, and he was from back east someplace, and
Back at East Coast, New York, or wherever it was.
he was a very good artist, but he had tattoos all over his face and everything.
Yeah,
And,
completely covered.
He was weird in a way, when he looks at you, he has one eye at you and one eye this other way, Yeah, and he's kind of scary, really. If you meet him around the corner at night.
He's been up to the shop in San Diego, right?
Yeah, you come and visit. Yeah, you make a circuit every 2 or 3 years or so. He'd come from the East Coast and go around and visit different shops, and end up in San Diego, and he'd work.
Yeah,
for
afterwards
my
he did that,
dad.
yeah.
Tahiti Felix, and he also worked with what's his name? Yeah, Jim, Captain Jim's shop. Also, he'd work there. Real sweet guy.
He was a real nice
Yeah,
guy, though.
very,
Rob
very
Johnson,
friendly
yeah.
and everything. Good guy. He really knew all the early artists back on the East Coast. In
Which I had a tape
in the
recorder for
20s
some of
and
the stories
30s.
he used to tell us.
20s and 30s, 40s. That's when he was working back there, and he telling us all kinds of stories about the early days on the East Coast tattooing. But he's a real sweet, young, old guy. Very nice.
How many years did you work at the arcade?
I can add it up here, 62 to 80, so that's
To 82.
28 years? Yeah, about 28 years.
And when did you come on, Hiro? You were at the shop for a while too.
74 when it changed ownership of the arcade.
Right.
And
And that was Dicko?
yeah.
I was there for 18 years, actually.
And when then I started over there in summer of '74 to '82 till people bought out the
1980.
area there. but I just took care of the cashiering, change for the people that was there. I done very little tattooing myself there. My brother done all of it with Buzz.
Yep.
They done 99 and 99 100 some of of all the tattooing at the time there.
Yep. I remember we had the throwing knives
Yeah,
game and the
yeah.
shooting gallery.
Shooting gallery,
throwing
and
knives.
all the video games and pinball machines and all that. And
Pool tables.
lots of pool tables.
I remember that. Let me see. Are you familiar with the name Marshall Steele?
I've heard of it. I've heard of that person, but I didn't know him.
Because
I never met him.
some of Buzz's sheets have his name, and it look like it's blacked out.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering, is
Marshall Steele, this guy used to come to San Diego, though.
no. Steele, I'm thinking of, I don't know, don't know his last name, but his first name was Steele, I think. And he was a tall guy, and he worked up in the Pike in Long Beach in 48 when Dad was there tattooing with Mac McKeever.
That's who taught Felix, right?
Yes. Yeah, Dad apprenticed under Mac McKeever. Great old guy, you know, back in the early days. He worked on the Pike, just above the Pike at the time he had his shop, and there was quite a few other shops down on the Pike itself. And Steele, I remember we'd go and visit some of the shops and visit Steele's shop there. So I don't know if that was his last name or his first name. It was, his name was Steele. Swell guy too.
Did you ever work with Zeke Owens at the arcade?
No, he never.
No.
Never. But I worked with him for a little while in San Diego.
Because apparently he used to work at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
He worked in 2004, and he said he used to work in the 60s and 70s. That was in San
Yeah.
Diego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he work for Jim Dwada?
He worked with Jim,
Captain
and
Jim.
Jim was working for my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
I remember Zeke telling me that Felix is the first guy that gave him his real tattoo job. Like,
Who?
Zeke, Felix.
Felix? Yeah.
He was the first one to hire him, like as a real tattooer in the shop.
No, he comes by the shop once in a while now. Huh? He did.
I think he's on the East Coast now. And you don't know who Shark was, right? Owner of the pawn shop? No?
No.
No.
I do remember the pawn shop.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
door to the arcade.
Yeah. Who would you purchase your machines and tattoo gear from?
What's the name of the guy?
Spalding and Rogers.
Spalding Rogers is where
Yeah.
I was.
That was where you got all your stuff.
But
the
yeah,
time.
where Buzz and I got all that stuff from. Yeah.
And another guy too up here in L.A. that had machines too. Can't think of his name. We had some of his machines also. Might have it in the museum collection there.
All the Jonesies?
Yeah, no, not Jonesy's. A different. That he has his own makeup. You can't think of the name though.
No, it was just.
How much were the machines back then?
I remember.
2 for $10 or something like that.
Well, the first machines that I've ever bought, tattoo machines, it was 3 for $10.
3 for $10.
Yeah. You know, that was before. That was when I first started.
Wow.
Those were Spalding and Rogers.
No, it wasn't
No.
Spalding and Rogers. No, it wasn't somebody else.
Yeah.
With Spalding, I think it was around. I don't know. Seems like around $50 or $60 back then. You know, even.
There's some flash with the name Ernie on it. You think that's for Ernie Sutton?
More than likely, yes. You know, those are all the old timers.
Yep. Gung Ho Tattoo. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it was
Oceanside.
two brothers. I can't think of their names. They apprenticed under Tahiti Felix. He apprenticed them.
they apprenticed with my dad, and then as soon as they started learning a little bit of it, they just
And
told
they
my
took
dad,
off, yeah.
you know, go fly a kite, man.
And they took off, ended up in Oceanside, and they were there for a few years.
Okay.
Worked there, and then from there, I don't
Yeah,
know where they went.
he was working for my dad, and he used to, you know, just before the rent is due, he used to call my dad up and tell him, oh man, it's so slow up here and everything. You know, I need money for the rent. And Captain Jim was working for my dad then also. And he didn't believe that was true. So he went up on a Friday and went, payday Friday, and went and checked on him. And the place was packed. Yeah. And he had the gall to call my dad for the rent. Can you imagine? Nice guy.
Who were the last tattooers to work at the arcade? Oh, you, right?
Just Bill and I, yeah.
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 And where did you go after the arcade closed?
We just went down to San Diego where my dad had his shop and my brother had his shop.
Yeah.
What's the name of the place? That's the first mill, isn't it?
Tahiti, yeah.
First
Tahiti Felix's.
master.
Yeah.
With Al Miller.
Yeah. Who else was there?
Lefty Al Miller.
His brother or father or something?
Yeah, his dad. I forget his name, but he worked with us for several years.
Eugene?
No.
Oh.
Old Man Miller, yeah.
Yeah, Tiger.
And then later on, Tiger Bob.
But the main guy was Al Miller.
Yeah.
You know.
And he worked for us for 40 years for my dad.
Yeah.
He's the longest. Came to San Diego in, I think, in '56 or whatever it is. And a friend that was working for my dad at the time were on Broadway in the arcade there, and he saw this guy walking across the street, and he says, he went outside and looked, says, God, it looks like Al Miller. So I was like, Al. And then the guy turned around and said, sure enough, it was Al Miller. He was up in San Francisco, yeah. He is
San Francisco.
Yeah, and
How did Felix get into tattooing?
he started apprenticed under Mac McKeever in Long Beach in 19.
What year is that?
1957. 1957.
Oh, before
No,
that, brother.
No.
Yeah.
He was
1947, I mean. 1947.
Okay.
Apprentice under Mac McKeever, and Mac had a shop.
Here's what happened. When he was young, you know, he was unattached and everything, so he went around all over the place. He used to work in a hotel or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a hotel.
A bellboy in a
yeah.
hotel and all that.
And then the elevator.
And then he walk around and he see these guys tattooing on the pike.
Yeah.
And you know, he had a sharp eye for money. You know, he sees this guy tattooing, and boom, you know, they're getting paid so much money all the time, and real quick they're making a lot of money. So that's stuck up here in his brain. But in the meantime, he went to Tahiti. You know, he went to Tahiti, and of course he fell in love with the place, and he decided to come back. And he went to tattoo, and he went and talked to this guy called McKeever.
Yeah, Mac McKeever.
Mac McKeever, to apprentice him and everything. That's the guy that taught him. And he went from there. He worked hard, made the money, and went back to Tahiti. Yeah, and he stayed there for a long time. He stayed there till 1947. And all during the war he was tattooing.
Yeah.
So 47 he went back down there and stayed there till he came up in 47. Yeah, and that's how he got in, is actually just by walking into a guy and asking him to teach him. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was with Mac for McKeever for a couple of years there, learning the business and everything. And he opened up his.
Then he went to San Diego and opened up a shop down there.
But the
And
first,
was there
though,
one? There's one in San Pedro, right?
yeah, first though, he opened his shop. First shop was after he apprenticed with Mac. He went to San Pedro, and he was there for about 3-4 months. But it was very extremely slow there. All action was down on the pike at the time, you know. So he went and talked with Mac, and he asked Mac, "Where'd be a good place to go other than here?" You know, he said, "Well, try down in San Diego." So packed us all up in the car. We went down there several times, looked around, and he found some of the get people down there and talked with them, and said that's the place. So we all moved down there in 1949, summer of 1949. I've been there ever since.
Yeah.
And
How,
it's still
how was the
going.
vibe in San Diego back then?
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
People that was there, Painless Snell.
Yeah.
You know, they had about 4 shops there in San Diego at the time, and they, you know, they controlled. They had the police department in their back pocket and everything. You know, because the guy they had a yacht. This how
And he
much
was-
money they were making. They had a yacht, and then the police would take it out. You know, I mean,
Take the police chief
borrow
and
it from them
friends
and
and
everything.
stuff, you know.
Painless Nell had a yacht?
yeah, Matthews. That's a money thing. You know. Yeah.
So they were really in with like that. So
So
there were
when
several
my
other
dad-
artists there too. So there was a guy named Paul Dunbar was there, and he had a little weenie dog. I remember that. You know.
Well, when he first opened up, what the hell is the name of Painless Nell's husband? I can't think of his
Can't
name.
think of it.
Anyway, he used to come around. He says, "Okay, Felix, you better not touch him this weekend." I got the tip from the police. They're going to be checking, you know, and they did. Take my dad in, pay $50, and get back out and start tattooing again, you know.
He had the business sewed up, you know, with the police.
Yeah,
there.
this Painless Nell, they had everything all tied up. But
Painless
my
Nell.
dad, he just stayed, and you know, I mean, he didn't pack up and leave. You know, he just stayed there. Yeah, it was on F Street.
Yeah, his name was Huey Bowen.
That's
Huey Bowen was his name.
Painless Nell's
Carnival.
husband.
Yeah. Painless it was, and who worked there was Painless Nell and her sister.
they were the carnival type person, you know, working carnival, carnies.
Yeah, and they made all their money during the war. The war, downtown San Diego was open 24 hours a day. You know.
Yeah.
They had the Naval Training Center there, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, and they had the Army base too out there. You know, so they had the 3 services, and there was thousands of people downtown, 24 hours a day. You know. And they had maybe half a dozen or a dozen shops then during the war.
Yeah,
And that's
they
when
had
they
a whole
really
bunch of
made their-
shops. I remember.
Plenty to go around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
More than-
they control all of it.
Yeah, they controlled it. Because they knew the police chief and
They
all the
had-
big wigs, you know, the city fathers,
I remember-
city mothers and fathers, you know. So.
I remember talking to one of the guys that used to work for them for a long time, and he came over and worked for my dad for a while. And he used to tell me stories like that. He said, "You walk up this, it's almost like a whorehouse. You walk up, you know, and then there'll be a girl there with a clipboard or something, and you say, okay, and then you find out who's free. Be a bunch of women all women, because during war, all the guys were gone, you know, fighting. So there was all women working. And
Tattooing, yeah.
they would just send him guy there, send this other guy there. That's how fast they were making money. Yeah. And
They would pick up the machines at night, someone told me.
yeah. They
Yeah.
couldn't touch the machine.
Yeah.
They couldn't touch anything on the machine. You know, they change the needles, I guess, and adjust it or whatever. That's it. You know, I mean,
He would go on, yeah,
Boy
Boy would
would
go
do
around.
that. He'd go around with a like a
Yeah.
wheelbarrow, pick up all the machines.
Yeah, he'd come around in the morning, pick up all the machines that was used the night before, you know.
Yeah.
Then he'd drop off a new set of machines, pick up those, take them in and tune them up and all of that, and bring them back the following day.
And back then you could
Yeah,
just use the
just
same needle all
rotating.
week or all day or what?
Yeah,
Forever.
probably, you know.
So,
Not like it is today, you know. But that's some of the early history there of San Diego about tattooing, you know.
that
So
was
Yeah.
you know,
Make the
very
circuit.
interesting.
go to all the shops, pick up the machines, and leave new ones.
Yeah, it
there,
was
you know.
like in a hotel room.
Yeah.
The lobby would be all tattooing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really going huckly buck. Like I say, it was San Diego was open. There's military, thousands of military guys in San Diego City there, 24 hours a day.
Well, you know, there's
Three bases that they had there.
well, even when we were working, I was working on Broadway in San Diego, in the 50s.
Yeah.
They used to dump at 11 o'clock or something like that, 11 and 12 o'clock. These buses would show up, you know, would pull up across the street, and like 12 of them or 10 of them, and all these sailors would jump
Yeah,
out. The
white
whole
hats.
street, you know, the whole
Yeah.
Broadway is a pretty wide street, you know. These guys, all these sailors going down the street, you know,
They had a few hours off until they had to
Running.
get back before
running to the tattoo shop.
7 or
Wow.
8 o'clock in the
First,
evening. Over
first
their
in line, you know.
deadline. So they only had a few hours to get out and get their tattoos and do whatever they wanted to do at the time. And then same with the Marine Corps too. The Marine Corps,
Well,
MCRD.
you know, sailors,
Yeah.
that was enough.
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about the Marines
Yeah.
or anybody
Every
else.
weekend was like that. And everything was really going. Had a lot of things down there. That's when they had locker clubs at the time because the men couldn't leave. They did at first. Wouldn't allow the guys that had to come offshore, off base, with their uniforms on. So they opened up
Yeah,
locker clubs, so they'd come in with
Put on
uniforms and change their uniform, you know, and in a locker club there, and then go have fun, and then come back and put their clothes, uniform on, and they head back to the base, you know.
I remember the guys, the sailors would come in, and some of those, they only got $20. You know, they got partial pay or something. It was only $20. So they come in there and they get something for $3.50. You know, a little heart with mom in it. You know, $3.50, and that's what we did all day. Those the boots. You
Yeah.
know. And
Names, hearts, flowers, and
and
other
then
things
after
like
a
that.
certain time in the afternoon, that's it.
Yeah.
Might as well
Leave
close
was
up.
over, they had to go
you know.
back.
Mm.
They all went back to base.
Those were the fun times then.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, yeah.
And then, Korean War broke out, and it really picked up there for those, what, 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, there, or 3 or 4 years of it. That was busy just about every day, you know. He'd be down there working, they'd go to work at about, pardon me. They could go to work down at shop open at 1 o'clock and probably be maybe midnight, 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning when they'd come get back
Sure.
to the trailer park where we were staying, you know. And they'd sleep a few hours and same
Did you-
routine, having.
Did you put any
Mom and Dad
tattoos
would go
on
down.
at the arcade? No, you didn't,
I was 10 years old.
huh? Oh,
I was playing the video
you
games.
didn't put a
I was playing the
tattoo on?
pinball machines.
Yeah.
No, but I would watch, but
Yeah, okay. When did you put your first tattoo on?
who's interviewing who?
I think
Answer the
he
question.
just switched it in our yeah, exactly.
90, I
Answer the
think
question,
92.
sir.
Yeah, but
I
Al.
was the one that,
Yeah.
Well, you did my first tattoo.
and then I told you, hey, come on, you can do this.
Yeah. I was just working the front desk. Because I guess my mom got tired of me hanging out here. Give him a job, please.
Yeah, the Al Miller. Great guy, great artist.
Yeah, I remember Al. You got any good stories about you and Buzz? Any good memories?
Yeah, he you know, he used to ride motorcycles. You know, he had a Harley and then another bike, English bike that he had. And I used to go with him, ride around with him. We used to go in the back, you know, in the back country, go up to Mount Palomar and all that. Yeah, we used to have some good times. And he was my best friend. He was a heck of a guy.
You ever go down to Mexico or anything like that? Or?
We went down to Mexico a couple of times, you know, with the motorcycles. It was a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Great guy.
I
Wonderful person.
You remember?
I remember. The beard, right?
Towards the end, yes.
Yeah.
When we left there, yeah. He was an ex-Marine, you know.
Yeah. Was he in the police force? Or
And he was a police. He was a, yeah, he was a motorcycle policeman. Oceanside police.
People who have come through the shop. Old Doc Webb. Anything?
Yeah, old Doc Webb, he worked up in San Francisco.
No, Vallejo.
Vallejo, yeah.
He had his own shop. He never worked. He worked for my dad for a little while.
Yeah, about 6 months I think he worked.
Yeah, and then he opened his own place. The guy, you know, he was, you know, he never wanted to work. He never worked for anybody. But he did work for my dad for around 6 months. Yeah, he was a nice person. Very nice person.
Yeah, him and his wife there.
Very friendly.
I'll never forget, he also had a little monkey, you know. I forget what the species of monkey, but it was small, you know, like a small baby, like.
He did. I didn't know that.
Moedeni. And that was their farm. He kept it on his little cage that he had on the side of his pickup.
Yeah.
You know, when he'd drive around.
He probably was an old carnival person too. You know.
He
That's
was
where a
up
lot
there
of
during
tattoo
the,
artists started back in the old days. That's where they started from, by working in the carnivals. You know, they move around with them, and yeah. I used to hear some real crazy stories. This guy was telling me one time that they're getting ready to leave this carnival. They were all done, and these people wanted some tattoos, you know, and they told him, you know, one guy told him, hey, we're closed, we're done, we're going to leave pretty quick. But the other guy, you know, the guy said, hey, hold on, what is it you want to get? He says, I want to get an eagle on my chest. I remember them telling that. So he says, okay, I can do that for you. Sit him down, clean her up, and he put I guess a crayon, a marking on the chest, on his chest, you know, and put it on there real good and look real good. And said, okay, now, and then he covered it up, and he said, make sure you don't take this off for 2 days or something like that, you know. The bandage, leave the bandage on for 2 days. My dad, when he woke up, he took it off and it all came off, but it was gone. But that's the stuff that they used to pull.
yeah, them carny people.
I forget who's the guy that told me that story, but you can tell, you know, he's a carnival guy, you know.
I remember Hiro mentioning Lyle Tuttle used to pop in sometimes.
Yeah, we knew him pretty well.
Yeah, he knew our dad.
He knew my dad real well.
Yeah, he used to be a truck driver, long haul truck driver.
Before he was a tattooer?
Yeah. And he'd stop in every once in a while. They'd have calls out, come down to San Diego, and he'd come in and visit with my dad, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he was probably tattooing on the side too, maybe a little bit, because he's from up in Frisco, you know.
Is he still alive and kicking?
He is.
Yeah.
Probably in better shape than I am, I'm sure.
Every so often he'd come down, and then I guess he finally quit driving truck and went to this tattooing straight.
He still
And
goes to shows?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's one of the old timers that's left there.
Well, I mean, but now, you know, right
Yeah.
now, he's still doing that. And
Yep.
you got to be my age or older.
Yeah.
regards to Felix, when you guys, when he also did the Polynesian floor show stuff,
Yeah, we were.
in addition to tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the summertime, we'd go out for 12 years. We had the show, the Regal
He was the main
Tahitians.
drummer.
And I played the drums and tickled the guitar strings and sang
Yeah.
for the show there. We had a great time. We
They went
traveled
around
around
quite
the
a bit
country
all
here
over.
and then
Tell them where you guys went, but
went to Canada, had a tour of
Europe.
Canada, and then also 2 tours to the Orient, working for the military. You know,
And this is
doing
in the
shows.
60s, or?
Yeah, we started in
70s.
63 we started,
Yeah.
and we done like shows all over. A lot of different fair dates and stuff like that in the States and Canada. But the two big trips that we had to the Orient was in 1963, summer of 63. We went to Japan, and we were booked in several different locations over there. One in Tokyo, and also one down in can't think of it now, the name. But we were there for about
Okinawa
3
or
weeks.
something?
No, we didn't make it then on our second trip, but we went there in 1967, and we had our grand tour there. Summer we were gone about 3-4 weeks on that one. We went to Japan again, and we went to
You went to Europe though, didn't you?
no, that was later. We went to Thailand. Working this was all doing military dates, you know, playing at the different camps.
And it was just a Polynesian floor show,
Yeah,
kind of a
or-
variety
yeah,
show or something?
yeah.
Yeah, Tahitian.
Yeah, and went to from there we went to Korea also. We were there for a week or so there at Korea, and back to Japan and Okinawa. We were over in Okinawa for about a week, doing all military dates there. So we were gone about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere in there. I had a real good time playing for the servicemen and women. A lot of fun.
And this is when the tiki craze was pretty
Yeah.
big too, the Polynesian
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it was a great experience. I always called it was a working vacation for me. You know,
Yeah.
see a lot of sights, plus do our work too during the show. So it was very interesting.
Didn't Felix want to open up like a place like that in San Diego, like a tiki bar or lounge?
Yeah,
or,
they were
Yeah,
talking
he was
about it.
thinking about that, but it never.
But couldn't find enough. Couldn't find the right promoter and to find the people who had the monies that would back the deal. You know, put up the money for building a nice club. You know?
Yeah. I thought he was getting a little slack from the Valley High people or something.
Yeah, the person at the time had the Valley High. They had that sewed up over there on the island, you know, on Shelter Island. And then later on, say, when they built Harbor Island, he opened another place over there too. And so at the time, Tom Ham was his name, and so he was in
But
with with the city mothers and fathers, you know, so they had the clique
anyway, the upshot of that,
thing
never
got there.
panned out. It never
Yeah.
worked out. So.
I did see drawings.
Yeah, yeah.
The
That was
stage
our
and all that.
Dad's great friend there worked in the motion pictures in his early days there, from I guess the 20s to the 50s, when his name was Hal Wilcox.
He's the one
And
that
he was a
carved
set
the tikis.
designer. Yeah, he was a set designer. You know, he designed sets and paint them, fix them all up for the different studios. And he went down to Tahiti one time when my dad was visiting down in Tahiti too, and they became friends. And this was in the early 30s, and So they got acquainted there, and then from then all the way up to when he died there in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, late 70s when he passed away. And Hal was, I guess, around 90 years old or so by then. But he was a great friend of my dad's and a great artist. He done a lot of paintings and carvings, wood carvings, and he's the one that he was a great carver, and he liked to carve the.
He did a heck of a job on that tiki drum.
Yeah.
You know?
He's the one who carved it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that we made the
Yeah.
mug.
Yeah, the mug. That's it. Have that mug and.
Pass it to him? Pass it to him?
And he's the one that made that mug. I asked him to like to fix a drum up, you know, for the show. So he fixed
Yeah,
me up a
he's
drum
the one
like
that made
that, you
this.
know, and
The
whole
original.
thing. And we have it in the shop now. It doesn't have a drum head on it, but that's
Yeah.
the original one there.
It's a flower pot.
Yeah.
You know, it's a drum, right? Did you
Yes.
know
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
And right now it's a flower pot, but it can be made into a drum again, you know, put a skin on top and
Yeah?
pound it again.
Okay, I didn't know he had carved that.
Yeah, and he carved all his, he loved the Marquesian style, you know, of, he had pictures and stuff of the early days of Marquesian work and stuff, so he carved a lot of things like that, and that's why we have those dickies at the house there. He drew those up, carved those at the house there for when he was staying with us.
And those are the telephone pole
Yeah.
ones, huh?
Yeah, telephone poles, yeah. And that's
He'll-
what we have,
he'll-
6 of them over there, and you're welcome to 4 of them anyway.
Yeah.
At least, you got 4 corners down there you can wire
No,
in, you know.
They're just you know,
Sure.
rotting in the
Sure.
sun over there.
And all of that, so that was some of the,
How tall is the tallest? Just
they're both about
8 feet.
7 or 8 feet, I think,
Okay.
the tallest. And then we have plenty of room in the shop.
Sure.
You could have one,
were those
15 feet
intended
high.
for that club?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they wanted to make those just in case if they did get the thing for making the Tahiti Club, you know. They would, you know, you knew how to do it with, they do it with
Foam or whatever.
Yeah, and then the studios, you know.
Sure.
So that was the thing, it was originally made for that at the time. But it never panned out, so we still have the dickies there. There are Marquesian South dickies. And so it's been passed on, will be passed on to the Master Tattoo shop in San Diego.
Yeah.
They have those added to the collection with the drum vase that we have.
That's awesome. I think that's about it.
I've got one question.
We got a question from the audience.
To get to the shop that it's at now, there's been multiple changes, and all downtown, if I'm correct.
Yes.
What were the reasons for moving shops so many times? Was it as simple as because
Well,
the lease was up? sort
Yeah,
of
we
thing?
ran out of lease, and
They were redoing the whole
yeah,
part of town.
Renovating.
Renovate, yeah. So they tore everything down and put new shopping center, new buildings and everything. So yeah, we had, and that was one way to get rid of us too, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so we moved. Yeah, that's why we moved to on Fifth Avenue.
I think that's the 7th move that we've had down there, which we started at 317 F Street and then up on Broadway, 2 different spots there in the arcade and next door to the arcade, and we moved south there several blocks down to Front and Broadway, and we were there for what, 5-6 years or so there, and then from there in the 80s, I guess, is when we moved up to 5th Street at the
Fifth Street,
949.
1990.
1990, yeah.
It was 1990,
Yeah.
I remember.
19,
You see, they were giving you a hard time to move in, right?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But
Except-
Ed Hardy stepped
yeah,
in and helped.
yeah. Our dear
Except
friend,
that we went straight to the property owner, you know, and talked to him, and then told him who, you know, about my dad having a shop over on by the theater, you know, and
317 F Street.
yeah, and he says, "Oh, you guys been around here for a long time, you know.
Yeah, we went to time.
Don't worry, I'll get you in. You got it." That's why we moved over on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, we were there for.
And it pissed off a lot of people, I know. They tried to get rid of us afterwards.
Yeah, we were the only ones allowed in
But,
the gas line.
Yeah, yeah.
With our help too from our dear friend
Ed?
Ed Hardy.
Ed Hardy is the one that
he helped
helped
us
out. He
with
wrote
this.
he wrote him a real nice, you know, a good letter, and sent him one of his books about tattooing and stuff, you know. Yeah, they quit bothering us after that.
That's how
But
we-
now everything's wide open, right?
Pretty much.
And from there, we moved to Broadway. We were on Broadway for about 5-6 years there, and then back on Fifth Street now.
Yeah,
How many shops are downtown now?
I can't even count.
That many?
There's a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Well, it's just about to die.
Okay, well, thank you
Wow.
for this
That's-
first installment.
That's some of the early history of Tahiti Felix's master tattoo.
And some of Maurice's experiences
Yeah,
at the
sure.
arcade in Oceanside.
And
Yeah.
our little knowledge of it, you know. So we're just passing it on. And hope that the people enjoy it there. From what we've seen and down there through our eyes anyway, and the voice.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bob.
you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
thanks for your
Tahiti
contribution.
Hiro, thank you very much.
My pleasure.